Hi, I'm Jason Sterling. I'm a member of the EA Creator Network, and today we're still following my fairy, Josh, and his husband, Knox, from Eco Living and their little baby Jocks, and we're going to look at the first thing this morning. I was thinking, let's look at the running sort of apothecary stall as a business, using business and hobbies, right? Right. But what happens instead, to take my mind off of that, my stove catches on fire for the 1000th time because I have bad luck. Now, here's the deal. This is a whole nother sort of like Murphy bed situation where every time you try to go to sleep, the bed kills you, right? Every single time I'm trying to cook, my child is going to starve to death. The stove sets on fire, burns up everything around it. Now I cheat, okay? My insurance company doesn't want to pay for the full stove. I'm going to just cheat the rest of that money. So, okay, but it's getting a little ridiculous. It really is. It's way too overpowered. Plus, luck is supposed to be influenced by your balance. You know, if your Sim's in or out of balance. My Sims have always been in balance. Even right now at the end of the fire where he's like super tense and he's super upset, he'll still be perfectly in balance. So I don't think the balance and the luck system is really that finely tuned, right? I feel like it is a little out of whack, and I don't know what they're going to do with it, but anyway, it doesn't feel like it works. It doesn't, because I'm always imbalanced, and I'm always having bad luck, and my house is always burning down. And that's the other thing with luck. I feel like the only thing I notice with luck is that stove on fire. That's it. Like, I never notice anything else. I think one time it said, oh, your Sim had good luck because he found some money on the ground or some such nonsense. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. I mean, there was nothing really there to support it, but that's fine. Now, one thing that does work, though, is running a small business. I mean, so far, I've really liked doing this small business at home thing from the Business and Hobbies pack. It does work pretty well. The one thing I don't like is you can see I put out new tables from the new pack as display tables. I kind of forgot that doesn't work. You've got to use the actual display tables that came with Business and Hobbies, and they're pretty bland and pretty generic. So they don't really fit the feel here, but I did go ahead and use them. I did swap everything out, and it did work. I mean, it's a pretty good system. The great thing is put the thing by the door where you have to pay to get in. Yeah, where you have to pay to get in. I'm like, I really don't care how sick you are. This is kind of a VD clinic, you can see there. I don't care how sick you are. You're going to pay to get in and get your medicine, right? Because like you can see, they come in. They don't come in and buy and leave. They come in and they hang out, right? Probably looking for their next person, right? That's the way this community is. And so you're going to pay. If you're going to treat this like a nightclub, you're going to pay like a nightclub. Also, when you have them do that, you can just go to bed. I mean, just open the place and go to bed. It will take care of itself. It can just run itself. I was about to say forever. It does not run itself forever. It runs itself for 24 hours, and then Maxis hard shuts it down and says, you can't be open past 24 hours. I don't know why. Now, let me tell you something right now. Okay, here's the deal. Lots of places are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and this is a VD clinic. Okay, people aren't going to stop having illicit, unprotected sex just because it's been 24 hours, okay? I need to be open as a service to my community, Maxis. In fact, that's my motto. Open 24 hours a day, just like your legs. So I've got to be here to provide them something to cure themselves with, lest they go blind and die, right? Right. So that's mine. That's some kind of like complaint with it. It is. The other thing is when you do leave from work, then it will also close. Or if you leave the lot for some reason. Now, I'm thinking about switching the business over to Knox because Knox is a stay-at-home dad. So that would kind of take care of that. He would always be there. At least for 24 hours it would. You do still make kind of a tidy little profit, though. It's not that bad. And in this case with Josh's career, I could have had him stay home and just, do the doctoring thing all day. But I couldn't face it. If you saw the video where I was a doctor with Josh there, I just couldn't face standing there for 8 more hours, like 8 hours just talking to some pregnant werewolf or whoever showed up this time and having them do push-ups and nothing but talk, just stand there talking, just so I could have this store open. I was like, it's not worth it. I don't care. I don't need the money that bad. So I did go ahead and send him to work, and so the store closed down. But hey, you don't even need to work, or you do not need to work. I'm going to show you something. Do you see that mess? Okay, that's a mess. And gnomes made that mess. Gnomes always make messes. They're like little ceramic toddlers, except they actually leave a mess. Toddlers don't actually leave a mess in the game. It looks like they're a little tornado, but they don't really make a mess. Okay, gnomes make a mess. And I'm like, oh my God. What is wrong with you people? Well, they're not really people. They're gnomes. But what is wrong with you is you leave this shit all over my garden. So I'm gathering them all up, right? They're little packets of seeds, and there's like 1 million of them. And I'm kind of pissed, but that's because I'm a fool. Let me tell you something. Once I got this all gathered up, that's like $15,000. Not kidding. That's like $15,000. I gathered it all up. Like one group of seeds was 500. The next group was 500. I'm thinking, wow, that's a pretty good take. Like these sort of uncommon seeds, or not uncommon, common, like common seeds, Yeah, that's a pretty good take. Then I've got like this group of rare seeds. It was $10,000. And another group, I think, of like uncommon seeds. And those were like almost $4,000. So I'm looking at $15,000 of seeds. And my new best friend, who is that little gnome there, he can stay here forever. Okay, as long as he's throwing money around my lot, right? That's what those seed packets are. They look like seeds. They're money. As long as he's throwing money all over my lot, he and I are best friends. This may be the first gnome don't go in the recycler, since gnomes kind of got abilities to mess with you, So I was super thrilled. You don't need a job. Just skip that. What the fuck are you going to work for? Just get a gnome, stick him out in the yard, wait for him to drop shit. Now, I gather up a fairy house there because I want to increase my emotional, kind of food, my emotional level, because I'm going to do this experiment, right? Now, fairies can change the emotions of other people so they can make them happy or sad or whatever. So I think, hey, I'm going to go into town. I'm going to go to the museum. I'm going to make everybody angry, right? Let's make everybody angry, see them get into fights and get into arguments and hate on each other. That's what I do. And I literally make everyone angry, like every single person. Took forever. Running around, zip, 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 and nothing happened. I mean, it did. It did. They did get angry. Like you could tell, they kind of stomp around. A lot of them just stomped off and went home. That's all they did. But they didn't really interact with each other. They certainly didn't get in fights. They didn't beat the crap out of each other or anything. They just were mad. You could just tell they were mad. And I'm kind of like, I really expected, I guess because of the trailer. The trailer kind of gives you that impression that, hey, you can change emotions and maybe Sims are going to get mad or maybe they'll get extra flirty or whatever, right? So, hey, let's do this. That's going to be loads of fun. So I go and I do that and nothing really happened. No, yeah, their emotion did change. It did as far as that goes. But I can make a sim mad just by walking up and talking to them for like about 3 interactions and you can make them angry, right? That's really not that hard to do. It's not hard to change any sim's emotions really in game. And while this might be a little bit easier, that's all it was. I'd also finally just switched to the reverse to flirting to see if that might be easier, like if you make the sim flirty. And incidentally, several sims I hit with that anger mood change over and over and over, like 6 times, 8 times in a row to try to boost the effect. It really didn't work. One sim was very angry, but I think she was very angry with me just because I kept buzzing around her head. Because whenever you do that to people, they do kind of get a little pissy about it, which I really don't care. I'm a fairy. Okay. Fuck you. I don't care that you're mad. And some chick named Sybil even like contacts me, which I guess is supposed to be a friend of mine or something. And she's like, I heard that people kind of don't like you right now. And that's a slippery slope. I don't care. Kiss my ass, Sybil. Who are you? She's not my friend. She's not my friend anymore. I'm going to go find her and change her mood. Okay. So anyway, I don't care, but that does make them a little bit mad. And so maybe that's why she was very angry because I couldn't tell anything else. And even at that, she really didn't do anything. It's not like she threw a drink in my face or hit me or anything like that. Flirty was the same way. Basically you got the same reaction that you would get just if you walked up to any sim and tried to flirt with them, kind of like, compliment them and stuff like that. And then I tried to accelerate it a little bit to see if there was any sort of boost at all from being a fairy, from this being sort of a magic, right? A magic emotional change. Plus, I did the extra boost on him. I hit him with like 6 times, I think, with flirty. And no, I mean, I just blew a kiss at him, and oh my God, he was mad. He was so mad. He was over it. So if it was anything more than like this is standard little flirting interactions, which acted just like if I had done nothing, then nothing happened. So it was kind of a disappointment. I'm going to say, I mean, I really don't feel like it's even a new skill because nothing felt different. I mean, nothing really happened. I mean, what can I say? It was a disappointing trip into town. It was a disappointing trip on 2 levels. Not just that, there's been this thing where when I travel, a fairy's wings disappear. Now, the fairy thinks it's still in fairy form because you've got to take him out of fairy form and then put him back into fairy form for the wings to reappear. So it's some sort of glitch there too. And I don't think the emotional thing is a glitch. I just don't think that there's any boost to it, by the way. I mean, I think it's working. It's just not very impactful. With the wings, it is a glitch, and there have been some other small glitches. Well, coming up, this is another glitch. So I go into cast, and I'm thinking, I'm going to change his wings real quick. I think I want to make them a little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful. I can't change the color of them. Now I can change the style of the wings, but the wings, the new style, even if the new style is supposed to be a different color, remain the color that I have right now, this sort of burnt orange. And even though it shows all these different colors on the watch, in cast, that's not the color it is. Okay, it's still burnt orange. I tried using cheats so I have full cast access as if I'm making a brand new sim. Did not change. I tried going through the mirror instead of just, clicking on the sim themselves to go into cast. Did not change. So nothing changed that. It's obviously a broken part of that feature. So again, a broken part of the feature. A lot of the broken things are I guess you could say, are a little bit trivial. I don't know. I mean, I don't consider that trivial. Some people would say it's trivial. I don't really consider it trivial. The way I look at it, this was a $40 game pack, and I always expect anything to work. I don't care if it's a $5 kit. I expect it to work, and so that was kind of disappointing too. Now, back at home, I decided to give it another shot. I'm not a quitter, you guys. I'm always going to pursue this until I figure something out eventually I'll quit. Or just quit. Eventually I'm going to quit. So I went in to my fairy house here, my tiny house I built for Mother Nature. And I went into debug and I really looked at I don't really want to call them cells, right? I don't, but I went and looked at the cells and I found this one that says, read it with me. They will never get out, and it's guaranteed. Because I'm thinking maybe I grabbed the wrong cell. I'm also thinking because I didn't make the cell a full square, maybe she got out the back, right, through the stone wall. So this says, first of all, never. Do we know what the definition of never is? It's never. That's the definition of never. It defines itself. Also, it says guaranteed. What's the definition of guaranteed? It's guaranteed. It defines itself. So I'm guaranteed that she's not going to get out of this box, right? So I make a little box and I put a little gnome in there to be a friend for her because I think, why not? Why not give her a little kind of pet in there? Maybe he'll give her some seeds or something. And then I open the store and we have a big come meet Mother Nature kind of, sale, right? I mean, not really. It's just me pretending that you can't do that in game. But we pretend, and a lot of people do show up. And I think people are happy. They're really enjoying this chance to go over to talk to Mother Nature. Knox is talking to her. They're talking about gardening. She's not talking to our baby, of course, because Mother Nature hates children. But he's there. He's trying to talk to her. They're trying to interact. Again, they're not. I'm just pretending that maybe they are, but they're not. They won't talk. She won't talk to him. He won't talk to her because toddlers came along late. I've said that before. Toddlers came along late, so everything requires more programming to put them into place, and so they don't want to do it. So everything's going great. Super happy. What happens? You know what happens already, don't you? You know what happens. She got out. She got out. I'm sorry. I just explained the definition of never and guaranteed, Maxis, right? So how does she get out of there? How? It was never and guaranteed. Now, of course, I could return these bars and get my money back or cheat my money back. That's not what I want. I want what I paid for. I want what I paid for. So anyway, she got out again. And I thought third time was going to be a charm. It wasn't. It was not. Third time was not a charm. Fourth time might be a charm. Here's the deal. I have trapped Vlad in one of these boxes before, right? Because he pissed me off. And I'm like, I'm sick of you being around here. And so I just put him in a cell at the bottom of a oubliette. That's what now that's not what I want to do, because I would kind of want her on the lawn where people can see her like, oh my God, you got a Mother Nature. I'm like, I did. She was on sale at Walmart. So anyway, yeah, I want them to be impressed with what I have in my yard. But I'm thinking that my last chance here is to build an oubliette 4 levels deep, drop this tiny house down there and put her in it. Put her in it and see if she can get out. Vlad couldn't get out. He did not get out of that. Well, he did eventually. Like if I leave the lot, I do think they disappear. But as long as I'm on the lot, they're stuck there. They're trapped because he kept trying to apparate out of that thing. He could not get out. So we're going to check that out next time. 4th time's a charm, you guys. It better be. They better be. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify so you can see whether or not that works. Fingers crossed. Hopefully it does work. Here at the end, you can kind of see my fairy development tree. I got all those points for trying to make mischief in town, which incidentally, I didn't get any more trouble. I mean, once you kind of lose your ration of fairy dust from the Marshmallow Man, yeah, you don't get in any more trouble and nobody says anything. So, okay, well, whatever. So, but I did get a ton of points for the fairy tree and I just picked a whole bunch of stuff. Now, again, most of this stuff I don't think is going to be very impactful. It's gardening related, which you could say, yeah, but Jason, I mean, now it's going to be easier to do gardening. Okay, but a lot of it's stuff I could do with just a high gardening level, you know, if I had a really high gardening level. And I'm not sure that it would take any longer to reach a high gardening level than it would take to reach a high fairy level. In fact, maybe the same amount of time. So I don't think it's going to feel that impactful, but I did select a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even remember what most of it was. In the end, I don't know if you can select everything or not. Probably. Probably in the end, I'll have enough points. I'm just clear the whole board, right? But I don't think any of it's going to be all that impactful. What would be impactful, though, again, is if you would hit like, subscribe, and notify. Next time might be my last kind of gameplay video for this pack. Be number 4. Fairies don't work on toddlers, by the way. There's no interactions at all. So I haven't touched on that yet. That's because there was nothing there. They do work a little bit on kids. So part of the interactions are there for kids, but I'm probably not going to touch on that. It's just the same stuff. It's just a kid instead of an adult. I did think it would be cute to make like a toddler really angry, and because they might really act out, you know, when they get angry and tired and hangry and stuff like that. But once again, they were not coded in at all for any interactions. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. We'll look at it next time. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.